Hello, Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV. And today, the inner observer. Somebody asked me if I could do a lesson solely on the inner observer, and I was like, oh my God, have I not done a lesson solely on the inner observer? So we are definitely going to dive into it. And I'm going to give you my take on the voice of my inner observer versus the voice of my higher self, because they're kind of a little bit different. But when these two voices start communicating with each other, this is when I really tap into some of my optimal streams, right? I kind of view the inner observer as the navigation system, and then the higher version of myself is the one that takes that direction and sort of runs with the ball. And when that happens, really, really good stuff happens for me and my layer of reality. Before I get started, remember to like this video and comment below. My world is taking care of me to enter my daily giveaway for my reprogramming stickers and Reality 2.0 on Teachable down below. Join us on Facebook. Like, subscribe, do stuff to this channel. We like it. We're trying to get our numbers up. So thank you so much for contributing. So the inner observer. The inner observer is a very practical part of transurfing, if you want to look at it that way, because it's the voice that initially, at least this is how it was for me, it was the voice that got me out of trouble, right? So when I first found Reality Transurfing and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. All of this direction, all of this structure on how to view reality. But then I didn't quite know how to get myself out of certain situations. Like my primary example, and I'm sure some of you could definitely relate, is like, how do I detach from the media and political pendulums, or from the pendulum of dysfunctional family, or some of the pendulums that I was really wrapped up in, where I was suffering or struggling, or the pendulum was getting more energy and gaining more than I was gaining. So at first I was like, okay, well, how do I do this exactly? And then I realized that, just as Vadim says in the book, there's this voice inside that will tell you what's up, right? There's this voice inside that will tell you when you're getting involved in something that does not benefit you or your reality. This voice will guide you towards some higher information and higher opportunities. But here's the thing, most people have really quieted this voice down, because this is the voice that is connected to outer intention, right? This is the voice that, again, is the navigation system for the alternative space or your alternatives flow. But most people, myself included, up until finding transurfing, were running off the voice of inner intention, right? Will, ego, me thinking that I had all the answers, that I knew the right way, that I had to really push through, and it was going to be me that was going to find the route to whatever it was, the route for whatever path I was going to travel. And it was that inner intention voice that drowned out the voice of the inner observer, right? And then when I realized what I had been doing, I was like, wait a second, I'm just going to tune into this voice more. And the voice started to present itself to me, managing my pendulums initially. So anytime I would see that pendulum coming for me, the inner observer would say, hey, wait a second. This is a pendulum coming for you. And the key to getting that voice more active and getting that voice giving you more information is to listen to it more. So whenever I would hear that voice, hey, the pendulum's coming for you, excuse yourself or tune out or drop importance or whatever, I got into the habit of listening to that voice, and that voice became louder and louder and louder and louder. And now it's like, that's the voice that I hear. I'm running on those directions. I'm not running on the inner intention voice of my mind. So here I drew a very simple little illustration, and this is a representation of how it sort of works for me. The inner observer, again, is, in my opinion, it's the entity, it's the energy, it's the voice that understands the alternative space, right? It understands or has access to the alternative space sort of ahead of me, right? So again, activating when the pendulum's coming. Hey, that pendulum's coming for you. Now it's time to wake up. You see yourself, you see your reality. So what that voice is essentially telling me is that if I continue down that path of getting hooked by that pendulum and allowing that pendulum to extract energy from me, it is going to put me on one of the lower lifelines that I have access to. Okay, so for those of you that have not heard my little practical way of seeing reality is that I have 10 levels available to me on any given day, more or less. And the bottom one is the worst version of reality that I can experience, and the top one is the best version of reality that I can experience. The inner observer knows this system, and the inner observer, my inner observer, knows when I am encountering information, opportunity, events, people, pendulums, whatever, that is going to either send me down or send me up. Now, this is where higher and lower self sort of come into play. So let's say I'm over at a family member's house and they've got the news going and it's really abrasive, and I'm feeling myself starting to get hooked, right? I'm feeling myself starting to get hooked. And my inner observer goes, hey, here, it's coming for you. The pendulum's coming for you. Media, politics, family, whatever it is, right? I have two different parts of myself that can respond to that voice. Now, I know this probably sounds a little bit complicated, but it's actually quite simple and easy once you just put it together and you feel exactly what I'm talking about. And you maybe already do. This is just, it really boils down to if you're going to accept the information or if you're going to override the information and sort of do your own thing. So again, inner observer activates and says, hey, this pendulum's coming for you, and you could end up on this very low lifeline, maybe having an argument with some family or getting depressed over the news or whatever it is. So either my higher self goes, yeah, that's that sounds like something I'm not interested in doing, right? I'm going to switch gears and focus on something more positive. So it's my higher self intercepting the situation and then taking what information the inner observer is relaying to me, and then I run with it, right? With the higher self. Now the lower self is the version of myself that says, no, I need to be informed, or I'm going to really give it to this family member, this political argument, or whatever. And then the lower self connecting with exactly what the inner observer trying to relay to me, connecting with it and then disregarding it, and then ending up on one of those lower lifelines. So next time you are challenged by a pendulum coming for you, no matter how faint, no matter how soft the voice is, listen to what your inner observer is trying to tell you, and then decide which, not decide, but draw your attention to which part of yourself is hearing that information and what you do after this voice tells you what's up, right? This is, in my opinion, my easiest way to navigate the different variations of reality that are available to me. Inner observer tells me what's up, and I keep my higher self listening. So if I need to perform, if I need to take action, if I need to get outside of my comfort zone, if I need to turn away from the pendulum, if I need to really disengage from a pendulum or focus my attention on something very positive instead, this is all, of course, acts of the higher self. So another thing that somebody had mentioned is that in the Facebook group, and I really loved this, and I will touch on it before I end this video, is the ability for your inner observer to pull you back to the center screen. So again, if you're getting too wrapped up in that outer screen, or you're too caught up in your internal screen, your inner screen, you're overthinking, over worrying, all that stuff, your inner observer will definitely like dial you back into that center screen if you do in fact exercise that voice and listen, right? So that inner observer is like calling you back to the center screen. Hey, this is where you're successful. This is where you're the optimal version of you. This is where you encounter more opportunities and more magic and events that are going to help you and your layer of reality, right? So the inner observer is like the lighthouse voice that's going to bring you back to that center place. So does this make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying about the higher self, the lower self, and the inner observer sort of extending information, and then one of these versions of you either overrides or accepts it and runs with the ball, so to speak? And with the center screen as well, what are your thoughts on that? And do you feel like you have a very, very meaningful and strong connection with that voice that is helping guide you to some of those higher variations of reality? Let me know your thoughts on this one, everybody. Thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe, and have a good day. Bye, guys.